Alright.
Hey everyone, welcome to Van Gogh for It. Thank you, as always, our featured artist and original Tina for hosting today. I'll try not to impale myself on my palette knives. New setup today because we're both painting outside. So we are challenging ourselves to stand up during this whole class, get outside, change our environment, and look for more inspiration as we explore the color wheel and color theory. So I'm going to pass it over to Tina, and she's going to lead us through the class. All right, Tina, what do you have for us today?
Hopefully the wind doesn't knock this stuff over. Can you hear me over the wind? That's that's a concern for me.
Yeah,
But
I can hear you.
okay. So we did the color wheel in the last class, and so we learned about primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. For this, I thought we would do a monochromatic practice, and I brought one I did previously. So this is the best way to practice monochromatic is with grays and blacks and whites. And you can use, this is from the movie Psycho.
Okay, hold on. I just pause. I just want to let you know that I just want to share with people who maybe watch this video, when I go back and watch this video, that my primary reaction to seeing that was, well, one, you're amazing. I'm not surprised that you showed me something absolutely amazing. And then I guess my immediate, and this happened like half a second. My other immediate reaction, primary reaction was, I am not going to do well in this class. Like, so I have to stop and say that because that's why we're here, is because like you got to start somewhere, right? And so I just want to say for
Right.
people watching this video who may want to join the classes, like, it's okay if you can't do that. I'm not
Right.
expecting myself to do that, and neither are you. So we're just gonna celebrate that that's where you are and not where I am. And it's still gonna be a good class.
It's okay because it's just an example
I always
of,
get so intimidated. I always get so intimidated. Why is it my
and
first
that's
instinct to just
okay.
give up? Like, no. Okay, all right, go on. I'm
Well, it's
sorry.
okay to
Go
be
on.
intimidated, and the fact that you stop to recognize it is totally fine. But this is not like meant to be intimidating because you can paint monochromatically with anything. We're gonna use like grass to start with, or something that you have in your line of sight there. This is just to
Okay.
show you the different values of the color so that you can see what monochromatic means, and it's pretty much just on a value scale from darkest to lightest with the same color, or same color scheme. So that's a black and white one. That's a good practice to do if you use like a black and white photo from, or a print from a movie. That's what that's from, is from the movie Psycho. So we had a pick from, a bunch of prints that were made in the class, and then paint off of that. And it actually was probably one of the hardest studies that I had done because um every part of that photo had a different shade or a different value. So what we're going to do is mix and try to make um sort of a scale of a monochromatic color, and you can do whichever color you'd like. For that particular class, we used ultramarine and burnt umber to make black, and then added white to make the different grays that are in the photo. So we can do that, or we can go with, like I had mentioned, the greens, to just make your different shades and tints of greens to have those values so that you can paint with those. But the goal is to understand um, monochromatically how you're going to work, and add those colors to your canvas. So the biggest thing is learning how to mix the paint and getting those different values and shades. And so having the basic knowledge of the color wheel is necessary. If you'd like, we can go ahead and do greens, or we can do black and white. Which would you prefer?
I think I should do black and white because I think black scares me because I just never know how much to use, or
Yeah,
it's like, like a little bit goes like a really long way. So, but
right.
I also um need to go. What colors would I need? What colors did you say I need for that again?
You'll need ultramarine blue and burnt umber to
Mm.
make the black, and then a little bit of white. And if you don't have those, then we can work with what you have.
Let's see. I don't think, even though that's what I want to do, I don't think I have, I think I ran out of those, so I don't think I have those, unfortunately.
That's
What was it? What's the other option?
We can do greens or reds.
I have I have violet, magenta. Let's see, what else do I have? I have crimson red, I have vermilion, more magenta. What else do I got down here? I have a lot of vermilion. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Is that the green, vermilion green?
No, it's a vermilion like red.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Let's see. I have
Viridian is what I was thinking of. Sorry.
Oh, wait, I think I do have that color. Here, hold that. Will you hold that green you had up? I have I have that. Let me go let me just run in the house real quick and grab the vermilion, the greenish one you have.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So while she runs and gets hers, I don't know which green she said she had, but we're gonna work with the Viridian. You're just gonna put a dollop on palette paper. And then I'm still gonna use the burnt umber and the ultramarine to make a black because you still need a black, and she might have a stock black out of a tube. So we'll do that.
Okay, I went back. All right, so now I'm learning there's a difference between viridian and vermilion. Those are two, so I do have viridian. Oh dear Lord. Okay, this is why we're here. This is why we're here. Learn
All right,
names,
so you
teach
got your
names.
Viridian. Do you have white?
Yes.
Okay, and you have lemon yellow, right?
Limoncello. Yes.
Limoncello.
I do I have lemon. See, this is the other thing. And then I joke about the color and then I can't remember the real name. Okay, so I do have lemon yellow, viridian, and I have white. Let's see. I have zinc white. Is that okay?
That should work.
All right, done.
All
Done.
right,
I'm
so
gonna poke my eye out. Okay, let's see.
now
All
if you
right.
do have stock black on you,
Do I?
just a black paint. If not, then we can discuss making black paint later.
I do.
Okay, so get your Viridian and your lemon yellow, your limoncello,
Mm-hmm.
your white and your black, and put just a dab of each on your palette paper.
Okay, doing it. Commence
Um,
happening.
and while you're doing
Does it
that, I'm just
matter?
gonna
Does it
show.
matter the order?
No,
No.
no, no, no.
Okay.
I'm just gonna show how mixing burnt umber and that ultramarine makes black.
Okay.
And you have to kind of play with it to learn how much of each to make the value of black or the shade of black that you want. So right now this is too brown, so I'm going to add more blue. And the way you can tell that if you can't see directly is after you mix it, just swipe it a little bit and you can see that still has a lot of brown in it. So I'm just making my black while you're getting set up.
I'm just making a mess. Okay, here we go.
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Now, whenever you're doing a study like this, it's hard to kind of guess how much paint you're going to need, but the amount of paint that you need is going to correlate to the size of canvas that you have. If you're working smaller, just know you're not going to need a whole lot unless you're doing the impasto painting like we like to do as well. But let's
Okay. It's on my palette paper. That's what I got going on.
that's good. All right, so looks like I got a pretty good mix here. I'm going to keep mixing just a little bit because more you mix, the better. That's the other thing about mixing paint is like if you can still see a little bit in your, like a few streaks in that new color, then it's not mixed well enough. You gotta keep going.
Okay.
All right. So got my dark, I've got my light, and I've got my green. Now, what I like to do when I'm mixing paint, Tiffany, is I like to put the color that I'm making the different values of and put 3 to 5 separate piles of that out. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to put a couple different, just to get this to where I know that I'm going to be mixing different values, having different
Okay.
values.
So you're
And I'm
choosing the viridian to do that for, because we're making different values of the viridian.
correct.
Okay.
All
Tracking.
right. I've got it set up here. You can see all my viridians and then my black and my white. Okay.
All right.
Now
I'm
what
trying
you
to see, what palette knife are you using? I'm trying to see which. All right. You're going long, sharp, long, sharp. Okay.
long sharp.
Long, sharp. All right.
It doesn't have a number anymore because it's all covered up by paint, but it's long and sharp. You're right. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit of the dark and I'll show you how much I'm collecting on here. It's
Okay.
not an enormous amount of it on there, but it's just enough to be able to change this viridian, okay?
When
So I'm
you
gonna
said
add
dark,
it.
you mean the black you made? The
Yeah,
black?
yeah, the black.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so
Okay.
I'm gonna mix that.
Tracking.
And this is gonna be our darkest shade of green here of this viridian. I'm gonna add
Okay.
just a little bit more. And we just want it dark enough to be dark, but to still paint green. And when you're mixing paint, you spread it out and then you collect it. Okay. And then you lay it down and you continue to spread
It
it
just
out and mix
looks,
it.
it just looks black.
Yeah. Add more green if it's too black. If you're not seeing any green in your spread here, see how when I spread it, it's got green in it
Yeah,
still? Yeah, if you're
absolutely
not
not.
seeing
All right. Adding.
Lynn, pause, pause. So good. All right, so working with the wind here. I'm gonna try to clean off my palette knife as much as possible and collect all this that I've mixed in this darkest shade of green into a neat little pile. And then what I'm gonna do is take just a smidge of that and add it below my next pile. And the purpose of that is so that I know that I need to be lighter than that. But I also want to bring a little bit of that dark into the next color to try to shade up, if you will. We're gonna go a shade up from that darkest green. We're gonna mix it with what I gathered. My canvas is gonna blow away. And then I'm gonna add just a tiny, tiny cut of white.
I
A
think
little bit of white. Still too dark.
yes, oh, it's green. It's green. I just don't have a lot of space on my paper, so I can't spread it. But it's green once I spread it. It's green. It's totally green.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit to my next pile. Oh, my piles are touch. I'm not gonna touch. Okay.
If you hear animals, it's because I'm right near the dog park
I think
and
there's
they're
a
meeting
bird
the
that
first
lives in
time.
the there's a bird that lives in the tree behind me that is not happy. This is where I chose to do this.
Is that what
So
you were looking at earlier? Because
yes,
it's like
it was
looking over your
scaring me. It
shoulder.
was like angry birds behind me. Okay. I'm gonna take a little bit of this and add it to this and see the difference. I'm like afraid to mix it. It's like gonna ruin my color. Okay, let me see. I mean, these look like the same color, Tina.
So then, where are you at right now? What step are you on?
I'm only in my second pile.
Yeah, I'm still on the second pile. If it looks like the same color, did you add a tad bit of white to it?
No, I didn't add anything else. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that part. Okay, add white.
Just a tad bit of white,
Tad bit.
and
Well,
it's gonna change the viridian and the little bit of dark that you added to it. It's gonna change it just enough to where you have almost like a gray and a green mixed together is what it
ooh,
looks like.
yeah, that's pretty. Yes, I've got that.
All right, awesome. And then what we're
Yeah,
gonna do is after we get that pile, I'm not cleaning off my palette knife if you notice, because I want the colors
to
to kind of,
mix.
yeah, I'm gonna go from pile to pile and kind of add a little bit of each of the previous
Okay.
pile to the next.
Okay, doing it. I'm doing it.
And I'm going to take a little bit more of the white and no more of the dark and go to the third pile, okay? So just a
That's
little bit, cut a little bit more of that white.
okay, hold on. So what I have my third pile of just
Okay.
plain Viridian. I'm gonna take a tiny little scoop from my second pile,
Right?
put it in there, and then a little bit of more white.
A little bit more white, yep.
Okay, doing it.
So
It's happening.
we're incrementally changing this Viridian.
Okay, it's
Different.
happening. These birds are losing. Can you hear these birds out here losing it? Okay, they're
It's kind of like me
celebrating.
and the
Maybe they're.
dog.
Ooh, all right. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. All right, I have to stop and get a picture of this because I'm extremely
Okay, go
excited.
ahead.
All right,
Go
hold
ahead.
on. There's gonna be some odd angles coming up on this camera. Hold on. Ooh. Yes, it's nice. Okay.
So I've got a dark, a medium, and a light shade of green now. Now we're gonna try to make the lightest shade of green that we're gonna have. And what I'm gonna do, other than get black paint all over myself, hang on. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Thank you for doing that for me. I appreciate that. It was real nice
You
of
like
you.
this little paper towel?
Love it.
All right.
All right, I'm
This
going
is not
to
ergonomically correct. Okay.
right. I'm gonna finagle this here so that I can wipe this because I got this black paint all over me now.
I got all sorts of stuff happening over here. Okay.
Yeah, kind of an occupational hazard when you're painting outside in the wind and you didn't realize
Yeah.
it was gonna be windy. I mean, you just gotta go with it. Van go with it, right?
Van Go with it, baby.
Literally
Right.
drove to Murfreesboro and picked a park so we could do this.
Oh, I love it.
Love it. Love it. Dedication right here.
Here we
All
go.
right.
All right.
So now I'm gonna take the rest of my white, add it to my
Okay.
last pile of green.
Wait, I still have to scoop from pile 3, right?
Correct. Get a little bit from pile 3. And we're gonna experiment here and we're gonna add a little bit of that lemon yellow to that last pile for that lightest green, okay?
Ooh.
Just a
All right.
tiny bit
Doing
of
it.
lemon yellow.
Doing it. Serving it. Oh, wait. That's not a tiny bit. That was like a dollop. Dollop's more than a tiny bit. Okay.
Dollop is okay. You don't have to use it all, but just be aware where it's at on
Ooh.
your palette paper. And then we're gonna mix all those together.
Now, what I found is I still don't know how to use the space on my palette paper well because now I've got these beautiful, but I don't have a lot of paint
Yeah.
mixed. That's for sure. And I didn't give myself much room. So, okay.
Well, whenever
And
you're
yellow
mixing the paint,
and
go
white.
ahead and with your the size of your canvas is gonna help determine how much paint you're gonna need. So just always keep that in mind. And then on
Gotcha.
your palette paper to give you room, like organizing the paint on the palette paper and knowing what you're gonna run out of and what you're gonna keep. So that's why on half my palette paper, and I can show you here. On half, I've got all my greens on the bottom and my black and my white at the top. So
Yeah.
the way that was organized, and this is that regular palette paper, so it's not like enormous
Yeah.
palette paper, but it's just you're still getting familiar with your tools and how to use them,
Yeah.
and especially whenever we're in a new environment and like we don't know how much we're gonna need.
Ooh, yeah. And I'm like at the edge of the table here. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so you're working with what you got, which is good.
I mean, 4 beautiful different colors, all different values here. So this is exciting.
Different greens, right?
Different greens, yes.
All right. So
Yes.
then
Ooh,
we can still
those
work
are,
with palette knife or we can work with brush. It's up to you. Right.
what should, well, considering I don't have any brushes, I guess that's,
Palette knife it is. Woo! You got
I
this
guess
because
I'll be,
I didn't grab a brush out of the box either, so that's okay. Okay, so blank canvas, right? So
yes, ma'am.
this this is just a study, so keep that in mind. We're not making anything in particular. Um, we're gonna start with our darkest, and I'll just make lines, okay? We'll just make lines and put them right next to each other.
Okay.
Now what's gonna help you be able to see the color of the paint real well is having a little bit of your mineral spirits or your Galkid, whichever medium you want to use, just to kind of thin the paint a little bit so you can see it on the canvas since we don't have brushes.
Okay.
Do I have a brush? Not in here. So I'm just gonna dip my palette knife in my mineral spirits
Okay.
and put it on the line I made. We're just gonna,
You started with the black, right? You started with the darkest one?
the darkest one, yes.
Okay.
And so literally all I'm doing is making a line and taking that mineral spirits and just
Okay. I'm doing
putting
it.
it on the paint so it's thin. So you can see the color, okay? The whole point of this is to see the colors that we're making and how they work with each other on the canvas.
Okay.
So you've got darkest shade here. I think that the name of the dog that she's yelling at is Snooky, which is kind of funny. All right, then we're gonna clean the palette knife off and go to the next color, okay?
Okay.
And I'm picking it up and we're gonna lay it on the canvas right next to that. Go a little longer since I had more of that color than previous. But you can see the difference in value in the green.
Ooh. Oh my
And then
gosh. I just used my finger instead of a paper towel to wipe the palette knife off with. Okay. Moving on. Moving on.
oh life.
Moving on. Moving on.
All right,
Hold
then I'm
on.
gonna
Will you
get my
show
next
me?
color
Are you just laying them on top of each other and next to each other? Let me see that again.
next to each other and then blending. I blended it a little bit into the dark, okay? So we're not going crazy, but we're gonna do a little. My goal is to get all because I only made small piles. My goal is to get my piles off my paper onto my canvas. So if you
Oh,
have bigger
gotcha.
piles, you don't have to do that. You can work smaller.
But we're gonna so with each like section I can use all the paint I have is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Doing it. Doing it.
It almost hit me right in the face. So fun and interesting class. All right. So I am cleansing and replenising. All right. We clean my palette knife off and we're gonna go in with our third one or our fourth one. I'm sorry.
I'm only on my third.
That's okay.
Okay.
No rush.
I gotta blend this one. Right. Blend it, baby. Blend. Blend over. Blend. I will say blending with a palette knife is a little hard.
A little bit. A little bit. But
Not
the
as
palette knife is meant to be worked with more paint, so you just got to work with more paint to do it to make it happen. So you can get it though, no problem.
well, I'm gonna make it happen. Just
Make it happen. Van Gogh for it, would you?
I'm gonna Van Gogh for it right here. Okay.
All right. So here just a minute, you should have your 4 values of green on your canvas. You can see what
Okay.
those look like together. And like I said, this is just another study, so it's not anything that
Take
needs
a
to be
deep
perfect.
breath. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. I am
It will
digging this.
be a-okay.
I am
For sure.
digging this color. These colors though are beautiful.
Looks great. And like I said, monochromatically, you can do this with any color. Black and white's a good one to study with just because of the fact that there's so many
Yeah,
grays, so many
I
shades of
definitely
gray.
I definitely want to be prepared to do black next time. Like make my own black like you do and
Yeah.
like do that like let's go for that next time.
Yeah. Black is easy to make. You just have to have burnt umber and ultramarine.
Okay.
And the ultramarine is what makes the brown black. So it's like all the colors in one, essentially.
Ooh, loving it. All right. I'm on my I'm gonna moving on to my fourth one now.
Okay.
All right. Do not grab the paint directly with your hand. All right. There we go. That was note to self. You do whatever you want to do, Tina. Ooh. I will say there's not a big difference between my third and my fourth, but there's just enough to where I can know that there's like definitely yellow in that fourth one.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the difference in the white makes in the green and what the lemon yellow makes in the green,
Yeah.
especially Viridian, because it turns it into a really, really pretty, almost emerald green.
I don't realize how hard I'm pushing down until like me and this entire table are gonna roll down this hill. Oh God. Okay. Oh, that'd be something. That'd be something right there. All right.
Now, what you would use monochromatic colors with, like I said, is a study. Just those colors.
Hold on, you're breaking up a little bit. You were breaking up a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little. I got something about monochromatic colors, and then and then it drops off.
And then so the wind blew and blew my cap down, so you're okay. But the purpose of that is to be able to see the different values of a color in something. So like if you took a blade of grass, you would notice that not the entire blade is the same color green, right? So the
Yeah.
purpose of making these different colors, if you're going to paint grass, is to paint the different values of that green in the grass. And you can use the darkest for shadows, like say you're standing here and you're painting landscape and the grass has like the shadow of a barn. Well, you're not going to make it just dark. You're going to make it dark green because the shadow of the barn's making the green darker. It's not changing it to black. So that's the purpose of working monochromatically, is to make sure that you can get those different values of that color. And it can be any color. It can be obviously any of the colors on the color wheel. And you can remember the photograph, or the portrait that I had done of my mom in the one magenta
Yes.
color. Yeah,
Yes.
so that's the same concept, is starting like that and then adding those different values of magenta on there to bring light forward and push shadow back. So
Okay.
this is
So
going to
yeah.
help.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you want to get like a leaf or a branch and put it in front of you and attempt to paint the branch just with the
Okay.
green, you can totally do that.
Okay. Look,
This
I did. Like I
particularly,
did it. It's possible. I did it.
it's amazing. It looks great.
Yay. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just looking around thinking like I picked some flowers earlier and I'm thinking, oh, you could do this with like I could just pick a flower and look at all the different
yep,
like values of pinks or purples and
yep.
grass and yeah.
So then, like, I guess I can practice on here, but if you took, if your darkest color you made, I'm gonna try to make some grass, a little bit of what I've got left here. And then you take the next darkest color and kind of add it to that. And then the next darkest color and add it to that. And then you mix those, kind of making it look like a blade of grass. This is a real tiny example.
Uh-huh.
And then you get your last lightest color and you put that on top. That's going to be where your light
Ooh.
source is. So
Okay.
you've got all the colors mixed into this one, and it's making a multi-dimensional sliver of grass, if you will.
Little sliver. All right, I'm doing
Kind of
it.
but that's what it's doing. That's the purpose of that. So I guess a good practice would be like a 4-leaf clover if we're using greens.
Ooh, okay.
See if I have. I'll be right. See if I have. I do. Ooh, this wind is lovely. It's so
I love
lovely and
it.
windy. It's lovely. All right. So if I had, oh, I do. I have another canvas I can use. Perfect. So thank you for the extra canvas, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
These come in handy. I kept them in my briefcase.
I like that. That's just like what you happen to have handy and what you carry around.
One second. Sorry about
Mm.
that. Thank you. Okay. I'm losing my paint supplies. Okay, so, and here's what you can do with like what's left on your palette paper too, Tiffany, because I know
Uh-huh.
you're like to be resourceful. 'Cause I'm just
Yes.
adding the mineral spirits to it and loosening it up. So I'm gonna paint with it now with the paintbrush, and you can see what that
Okay.
looks like on here. As far as
Okay.
utilizing the monochromatic values that you have. So we've got our
Yeah.
darkest green here, okay, and it's really diluted.
Okay.
And let's see, how do you make a 4-leaf clover? It's like a bunch of hearts together, right? Like, let's see if I can do this. So there's one. I don't know if I can do it. We'll try.
I have faith. I think you got this.
I don't know.
Ooh.
4-leaf clover.
I almost wiped that on my hand. What is wrong with me trying to grab these things by my hand?
This is a good one to choose because then I can send this with Jared, his favorite Care Bears. Lucky boy.
Oh, you're just, gosh, you're so quick. You're so sure, like just cranking out there. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Need one more leaf. 4. All right. So we got our 4 leaves. All right. So now there's our stem. Let's just indicate where the stem's at. Okay. So now this is the lightest green that I've got. Okay. And I'm going to go in with my dark and I'm going to indicate the inner parts of that so that we can see
Oh, look at
how to,
you.
how to use the darks with the shadows. Okay.
Okay.
So not sure how accurate that is, but that's what it's telling me in my brain. And then the next value up, which I guess I could turn this around too. Let's use some paint off this that I've put on here. And next value up, I'm gonna go in, kind of add, and I'm choosing one side to make dark and one side to make light because that's where the light source is gonna be. You always have to think about your light source and
Okay.
how that's shining on your subject. So I'm just gonna go in like that. And you can even keep turning your canvas. That's one thing I'm always going to recommend is that you continuously turn your canvas. If you have questions or get stuck or don't know how it's supposed to look, just turn the canvas. In my experience, it always works out. It hasn't always been that way, but I'm sure that I've struggled and got there. All right. So now that we have our second darkest color on there, we're going to go in with our third level of green, and we're going to fill in the majority of the subject, this clover with that, for the main reason that the lightest one is going to serve as highlight and putting in lighter portions.
All right. I better put that galket down before I think it's my drink and drink it. All right. Just keeps building and building and building.
Just going to keep going around and around. And then I'm going to make the stem a little bit more prominent and keep adding mineral spirits to loosen that back up if it feels like it's getting too identifiable. Now, one thing I've noticed that I need is to sort of help continue to identify the ends of each individual leaf here of this clover. Because it could get lost and muddy if in my brain, not in the paint, in my brain, if I don't do that. Because I'm like, oh wait, there's a heart, there's a heart. Yep, that's the other heart. And see, now that's that heart. I gotta map it out. I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta map it out. So then we have that. All these together, what makes a four-leaf clover is that you can definitely see the four leaves, right? So then we've got this going.
I love it. It kind of makes it look poofy too, like it's
It does.
poofing up.
Then your lightest color, I wanted to save for last because I want you to go in and add it as a highlight. Just on the opposite side of what you got that's indicated dark, okay?
Okay.
And it's gonna kind of like this. And then what you can do after that, because you can get even more detailed with your monochromatic colors, is make another lighter shade of green and another lightest shade of green all the way up until you get to the lightest shade, which would be almost like pale white, right? So we're just gonna roughly give them it. And
Getting it.
my palette I popped out of my case. All right. Leave that sitting here. It won't fly away.
Don't fly away.
Right? Stay there. Don't leave. All right, so this is what I've got so far.
I mean, that's precious.
It's just monochromatic coloring with the paint that we make, because anybody can do it.
Anybody.
Anything can happen. Anything can
Anything is
happen.
happening. It's happening right now. Oh gosh.
And this, like, will blow away. The wind is gusting right now. I apologize.
I love it. We can still see it. It's still good. Let's see. Yes. I love how you just cranked out that four leaf. I mean, yeah, you just cranked that right on out. No, but I think I want to do something similar and really take some time after this class to sit down and try to layer and try to do that with this same, like, I think for me, being able to reproduce what I've done is important. So I want to be able to sit down and reproduce these colors on my own. Like maybe go back, reference the video if I need to, that I anticipate happening. And then be able to do exactly what you did, but make sure that I know how to make these colors so that when I'm sitting down and I have that blade of grass or I have that four leaf clover, I know like how to mix the colors that I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, practicing is where it's definitely at. This is just definitely going to give you a starting point and hopefully make you feel like you can confidently mix on your own, so that
Yes.
if you wanted to do this with anything else, you can jump in and do it. It's really fun to do different colors monochromatically. Like we could have done purple or anything, anything that you actually wanted, we could have done that. But starting, just having an idea of starting with something or just jumping in and creating something, but having the basic understanding of, hey, I need to make this darker. How do I do that? This is what this is for. So for sure, continue to do that. And then what you're going to do so that you don't, because I know you like to be resourceful and use all your paint. Just know that you can practice on a smaller scale or a much larger scale. And then you can also go in and make something else with the existing paint that you have. So if you ever feel like you need to do that, just pop pop it out. Just do it. Get in there and do it. But it's super simple once you get the basic concept of how to add dark to a color to make a darkest shade or value of that color, and then white as well to get the opposite end of the spectrum. And then when you create little things like this, I always recommend saving them, and of course, record your process and how you got there, because it's going to help you, um, see the errors that you may make or how you can make it better. So just keep that in mind as well. And of course, if you have any questions in the process of doing that and making that creation, just please reach out, because I'm happy to help. But
Well, I definitely. Oh, that's awesome. That's so cute.
it's
That's
just a
so
little
cute.
formula.
Yeah, I think next time definitely yeah, doing the black. So I think for next class we'll focus on black and do that, and maybe have like, what is something like, so after this color you went to the four-leaf clover, what's something with black you think that we could go to?
Something with black. I mean, we can do um dark blues with the black if you want, and do like midnight skies. That's a very good study to do as well, because the sky is a reflection of all the colors. So if you go with the darkest blue, you can do
I
so many different
love it.
shades of blues. And it's the sky is
Yes,
just
yes.
a freaking
Let's
canvas
do
on its
that.
own. Yeah, you want to do that one? We can
Done.
definitely do that.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I about went down the hill. Okay, I'm good. I'm not going down the hill anymore. It's not happening. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. I'll be right back. I gotta make sure I don't fall down the hill.
Yes, please. All right, so we've loosely got that in there. Now we've got a four-leaf clover, guys. This is actually pretty fun. I'm glad I stopped and did this. See, this class is definitely meant to kind of help refocus. And I don't have a reference of a four-leaf clover right in front of me, but if you need something for reference and you can't just, dig in your brain and get something like that, that's totally understandable. Fine, it's not a requirement to be able to, but know what you need and have it prepared. That way, the work that you put into this is going to be fruitful for you.
Well, definitely like being outside and being able to have like reference around me to do things. So I
Oh,
think being
yeah.
outside is definitely different than painting inside. So I'm glad that we decided to venture out.
Me too. Me too. I'm going to go ahead, and since I've got the light source on this side of these, I'm going to loosen up this. We have 10 minutes left, it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm going to loosen this up here, kind of continue to give the implication of light. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm just dipping my brush in the mineral spirits and sort of spreading out with just mineral spirits the colors on the spot that I want. And I'm not taking away, I'm moving it. So moving paint on a canvas is a technique that you can utilize to fill gaps or to make um, changes or corrections if you need. And I was showing this to Jared last night with watercolor,
Ooh.
and it's the same concept, only you're using water, and watercolor is a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
But you can see here, just adding the mineral spirits, cleaning off my brush and getting more mineral spirits, and just
You know,
moving the paint.
we haven't done watercolor yet. What are you thinking for May? Do you want to do watercolor in May?
Yeah, we can do watercolor for sure.
Want to do watercolor in May?
Yeah,
Um,
watercolor is a fun one to work with. Watercolor is so, like, it's the easiest one I find to paint portraits with. So maybe we can do a portrait.
oh.
Feeling confident?
Oh,
Because it
well,
doesn't have to
I wouldn't go feeling confident, but I'm intrigued.
all right.
I'm intrigued.
You're,
So yes.
you're curious. I
All right.
invite you to come and try a portrait because guess what? You can just use the Picasso method and make shapes to make the shapes of someone's face instead of actually having it look
Ooh, I'm
representative.
excited. I'm always excited to see where it goes. And it always goes. I mean, I don't know. I'm not surprised because you're an excellent teacher. I think that I surprise myself when I'm like, oh, I can do this.
That's
But
great.
then
I
again,
love that.
but then again, you give me this confidence. And at first I think it's false confidence. And I'm like, wait, this could actually, this could work. This could happen.
Totally.
Totally. Ooh.
See, it just takes practice. That's what Bob Ross always said.
Well, I have to step away a couple minutes early today.
Okay.
Um, so Tina, I just want to say thank you as always, for being available to do these classes. That is the cutest clover ever. I love it. Look at that. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yeah, make sure you take pictures and send to me. Please,
I
please,
will.
please. Um, But yeah, sorry, I've got to hop up a couple minutes early, but thank you as always. And for
That's
anybody
great.
watching this video, Tina and I are always rooting for you and your artwork. So thank you for your support, and we'll continue to Van Gogh for it.
Absolutely. Thank you again for the opportunity to be able to do this and reach out if you have any questions. And that goes for anybody. They can reach out through the hub or through whichever means is most available
Yeah.
to you.
Any of our socials. Yeah, we've got rootedhealthhub@gmail.com. If you want to email us, you can find an original Tina on Instagram and Facebook, and Rooted Health Hub on Instagram and Facebook as well. You can go to our website, rootedhealthhub.com. So yeah, lots of ways to get a hold of us. If you have questions, or suggestions for classes or anything like that. So yeah, look forward to next class. And yeah, Tina, see you next Sunday. And then I'll start getting promotion together for May, watercolor May.
Watercolor May. Watercolor. We have to
Sounds
make
like a
a play on the
children's
words
book,
with it.
Watercolor May. Oh, there you go. That's our children's book. We're gonna be making that next. All right, guys. All right, Tina. Love you bunches.
Love you. Thank you again.
All right. Bye.
Bye.